Cathy loved the woman dearly, and Martha, in turn, was fiercely protective of both her and Cray. After some initial distrust on both sides, John had also been allowed into the magic circle of her devotion. Martha would have willingly laid down her life for any of the three of them, Cathy knew. But of them all, Cathy suspected that Cray was closest to Martha's heart, and she was glad. "Daddy!" Cray shrieked happily upon seeing John. Cathy had to shake her head at the rather vulgar Americanism. Despite her own thorough Englishness, Cray was every inch an American, his father's true son. He even looked like John. The child's black curls, grey eyes, sturdy frame, and even occasional mulish expression were his father's all over again. Cathy sometimes wondered how on earth she was going to deal with another obstinate male when Cray was grown, then shrugged her shoulders. Needs must, as Martha was fond of saying. "Daddy! Daddy!" Cray was struggling imperiously in Martha's arms. The woman obligingly set him on the ground. John hunkered down, laughing, opening his arms wide, as the little boy toddled across the smooth green lawn toward him. Reaching his goal at last, Cray gurgled with joy as he was caught and swung up high in his father's strong arms. Cathy felt her heart turn over with love as she watched the two of them. They meant more to her than all the world, and she thanked God every day for the twist of fate which had given them to her. John tossed Cray high in the air and caught him while the baby shrieked with glee. Cathy shook her head, smiling, as she watched her tall, muscular husband tussle with his tiny son. Then she hurried out of the house and onto the back lawn, before anything untoward could occur. Cray had just finished his supper, and, when overexcited, had a tendency to lose it in a most disconcerting fashion. "All right, you two, that's enough of your foolishness," she reproved with mock sternness, as she walked across the grass to join them. John grinned at her cheekily. Cray, watching his father, did likewise. Cathy had to laugh. They were as alike as two watermelons. "Yes, ma'am," John said meekly, as he set his son down. "Yes, ma'am," Cray piped an echo, clutching John's long leg for balance. Cathy laughed again, scooping the child up and giving him a quick hug. Cray cuddled into her neck, while John's arm slid around her waist, pulling her close as he planted a quick, hard kiss on her soft lips. Cathy returned it lovingly, feeling the familiar quickening begin inside her. It never failed to amaze her how, after more than 2 years together, and the birth of a son, John's touch could still make her go weak at the knees. At first she'd considered it shameful, thinking that a lady of her breeding, daughter of an earl, and descendant of one of England's most illustrious families, should find a man's physical attentions coolly distasteful at best. "Close your eyes and think of England," was the way most ladies of her class described their approach to the marital act. For a long time, Cathy had wondered, a little fearfully, at her own very different response, but repetition had accustomed her to it. Besides, she knew that John found her ardour in bed extremely exciting, and exciting John had very definite rewards. "Hungry?" she asked her husband prosaically, to cover thoughts that were rapidly beginning to get out of hand. "Starving," John replied with a devilish gleam, then leaned closer to murmur in her ear. "For you." Cathy blushed, shooting him a laughing, reproving glance. Martha watched this little piece of byplay indulgently. For all Master John's wild ways, he made Miss Cathy happy, and that, in Martha's opinion, was the important thing. "It's time the young master here was abed," Martha told Cathy stolidly, reaching out her hands for Cray. "Don't want to go to bed," Cray announced mutinously, then looked surprised as his small pink mouth opened wide in an involuntary yawn. Cathy chuckled, passing him over to Martha. "You're tired,